Welcome, and thank you for joining me for this yoga practice that honors Aries season. So begin here taking a seat on your mat with me. I want to talk a little bit about this season that we're in right now. Aries season starts at the beginning of the Spring Equinox, and we are entering that portal from one season to the other. And I have a beautiful sunny day here to help me invoke the fire and the heat that we associate with Aries. So we're going to start this practice seated on our mat. Go ahead and get into a comfortable upright seated position, whatever works for you. And we'll begin here drawing the eyes closed if you're comfortable with that. Otherwise, go ahead and just soften the gaze and maybe pick something soothing for your eyes to rest on. Take a moment and inhale, drawing energy and breath up through the base of the tailbone, through the vertebrae, and all the way up, and feel that rising to the crown here. Taking these deep breaths, align each vertebrae so that your spine is nice and straight. Relax the shoulders back and feel the chest expanding, and push the head high to the sky. Good. Continue this breath here, feeling the energy and the power surging from the earth up through your spine and coming out up through the crown of the head, and then it can return to the earth to be replenished. And I want you to continue taking deep breaths like this, imagining you're moving that energy through the body, from the earth through the body, and then releasing it through the crown. It falls and returns to the earth. Much like the plants during this time of the year are pulling nutrients and they are activating their roots, getting liquid flowing back through so they can regenerate for the new season, so too can you regenerate for the season. Pulling that fresh energy up and releasing some stagnant energy, stagnant moods or ideas that are lingering with you from the winter season. We are going to be bringing a little heat into our practice today to honor that warrior energy that we know Aries to be. It is initiator, which is perfect for this season. On your next inhale, sweep your arms high to the sky. Moving that energy again from the earth and sweeping it up towards the crown of the head. And this time we're bringing it in, hands to heart center. Continue moving the arms slow and steady, sweeping them up and overhead, and then bringing them to heart center. While we are doing this, imagine that you are moving the energy, but also stoking a flame, using your hands to help stoke a flame, like maybe a magician or a wizard here, if that symbolism works for you. One more big sweep up and overhead. When you're doing this, really feel your full extension of your arms reaching out, shoulder blades separating, and shoulders roll down as those hands come up. And exhale one final time, hands to heart center. Here I want you to begin pressing your palms together and sticking those elbows straight out so you have one line between through the forearms. Feel your shoulder blades here sort of squeezing together, and your pectoral muscles here are turning on a little bit. And I want you to lift through the chest as if you're really bringing your heart up to meet your thumbs here. Holding yourself strong through the core and letting your legs still root you down to the earth. Good. I want you to maintain a little pressure here. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. It can be a little. Whatever works for you. We're just sort of turning on those pectorals and opening up the heart space a little. And we're going to roll the neck side to side here. These movements should be nice, gentle, and controlled. When you go left to right, notice where you feel a stretch, maybe on the top of your shoulder. And then maybe you want to actually roll here through a little bit of a circular motion. Good. Bring your head back to center here. You can release a little bit of pressure from the hands. And for this next move, we're going to do a breath of fire, which is a very rapid style of breathing. And it will stoke a little bit of inner heat through the body. Before moving into this breath work, I want to let you know that if you're sensitive to certain types of like anxiety or panic attacks, or if a fast-paced breathing makes you uncomfortable, you may want to just skip this entirely. Maybe try it a little, see how you react, or just take a few steady, warming breaths slowly, if that feels better for you. Otherwise, we'll move into a breath of fire. Now you have a few options. If you want to keep those hands pressed at the palms together at the heart, you can do that. If you want to bring one hand to the belly, one to the heart here, so you can actually feel the rhythm of this breathing, that's an option. Or you can just rest the hands, whatever feels comfortable for you. So our breath of fire is a rapid inhale followed by a full forceful exhale. So you're really going to be pushing your diaphragm up and engaging the core through this breath work. So it looks like this. All right, and we're going to do that rapidly for about 30 seconds. So go ahead and get your hands centered, align your spine nice and tall. And we will begin. Inhale. And we're going to take one final inhale and exhale all the way. Keep going. Exhale all of it. Hold here. Once your lungs are empty, hold. And then allow yourself a nice deep inhale. Your lungs are really going to relish that breath. And then just rest your eyes or close your eyes for a moment. Hands at the heart. Take a beat here and notice how you feel. And then we're going to rub those palms together, starting off slow, and then we're going to quicken that pace. And we're going to bring a little heat here now between the hands. Once you feel like you have generated some heat from the friction of your hands, we're going to place them onto the eyes. Go ahead and get your palms here right into the eye and add a little pressure. And then I want you to relax your fingers, gently caressing your forehead. Keep the engagement through your spine. Relax your shoulders. And let your breath just be normal, whatever that means for you. And breathe. Good. Go ahead and release the hands here. And we're going to start stimulating a Wu Jia Yi breath. So we started a little heat through the core. We started a little heat into the hands and the head. And now we're going to continue that heat by closing the lips if you're able to breathe that way. Closing the lips and breathing just through the nostrils. Creating a gentle restriction in the back of the throat so you can actually hear your breath. This is our Wu Jia Yi breath. It is a breath of victory. So we've done our breath of fire. Now we're going to do our breath of victory in line with that warrior spirit of the season. Again, if this breath work does not work for you, just breathe in whatever way feels powerful for you. So we're going to go ahead and come onto the hands and knees for a little cat-cow. Cultivating that Wu Jia Yi breath here. Inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. And we'll bring some movement to that breath. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. And exhale, arch the back, squeeze the abdomen. So we're bringing a lot of visuals of fire and heat to our practice today. And we'll be coming back to that again and again. So here, I want you to imagine that you are sort of like a bellows pumping to stoke a fire. And if you don't know what that is, a bellows is just an instrument to force air into the fire to feed it. So imagine that with your exhale and your squeeze, you are forcing a little energy and air into your own personal fire. And we'll return to a tabletop position, keeping those hands placed right under the shoulders and gently, a gentle bend in the elbows. We never want to lock out our joints, so be mindful. And then stretch out your left leg nice and long. Curl the toes under, and we're going to stretch out the hamstring and the calf. You can push with your hands to add a little pressure here, feeling that contact to the earth, and emphasizing the stretch. And then we're going to slide that leg towards the right side so that it comes off your mat. So now my leg is going cross-body, and I can look over my right shoulder and see my toes. Keep those toes planted firmly, and try not to sway through the hips. So what I mean by that is if you're really swaying the hips back, we're going to want to keep them steady. So the hips don't move. Check to see that your right knee is under your right hip, and only stretch your left leg as much as that allows. Good. Now continue looking over to that right foot, getting a little stretch in the side body, maybe even pushing that hip to the left a little to make sure you stay centered. And then we're going to lift that leg, come back to center, and we're going to reach out our right hand. So we have opposite limbs lifted. And do 5 bird dog here, squeezing, getting engagement through the core, seeing if we can touch our elbow maybe back to our thigh, maybe our knee to our other elbow, and then we're going to reach it out. Good. Inhale and exhale. Again, breath to movement. We are stoking that inner fire. One more squeeze. Reach it out, and then rest. Take a moment, exhale, child's pose. Really reach those arms out in front of you, crawling the fingers forward, really stretching through the lats here into the underarm, and then rest your forehead. Inhale, rise back up to your tabletop position. Reach out your right leg this time. Curl the toes under and be mindful of your foundation. Give it a little push here, stretching the calf and hamstring. The bottom of the foot a little as well. And then we're going to reach that leg across body, coming off the mat if we can. Centering through the hips still. And then look over that left shoulder, see what those toes are doing. Try to get all 5 of them in contact with the earth. Heel pointed high to the sky. And then bump your hips a little to the right, making sure you stay centered, stretching through the side. And then we lift, come back to center, And the left arm comes up this time. And then 5 here. Squeeze and exhale. And reach. And then exhale, rest it down. Good. Now we're going to reach out that left leg once again. Curl the toes under, stretching calf and hamstring. Lift the leg, and we're just going to sweep it all the way forward this time, planting that firmly to the earth. And then we're going to check that our knee is right above our ankle. Hips are forward, and rise up to a kneeling warrior 1. So you want your feet to be like on tracks here, so they're not like too close together. There should be a little width between the knees and the feet. Raise your arms all the way up overhead. And then clasp them together. Push your palms to the sky and really roll those shoulders back. Exhale, release the hands, clasp them at the tailbone. Now push them down, rolling those shoulders back. Lift the chest and chin. And then we're going to inhale, sweeping the arms high to the sky. Exhale, come all the way down. And then we're going to move into a kneeling half split. So from here, I want you to keep your right knee stacked above your right hip. Stretch out that left leg so it's straight, toes point to the sky. Now again, check the hip and knee alignment. We don't want to be back here, and we don't want to be too far forward either. So check that position, lift your chest and chin forward, and then exhale, see if you can bring forehead towards your knee. Your left leg may be bent a little. This can be a really extreme stretch across the back of this leg. So be mindful and just do what works for you here. And then we're going to roll forward so we can get our hands onto the earth and then just slide that leg back to our tabletop position. And we'll start over here. Right leg reaches out, toes curl under, stretching through back of the leg. Strong tabletop here means we're engaging our core. And then lift the leg here, step it up for a kneeling warrior 1. Check your foundation. And then clasp those hands, turn the palms to face the sky, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, sweep the arms, clasp the hands at the tailbone, and then push. Opening the chest, lift the chin. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, and down. We'll move into our kneeling half splits. Check your foundation, and then inhale. Push the chest forward, lift the chin. Exhale, knee. Forehead comes down to meet the knee. Or close as you can. Now keep your toes pointed to the sky. This is really going to emphasize the stretch along the back of the leg. And again, you can bend that knee as much as you would like. And then we'll roll forward a little so we can plant those hands, stepping it back to our tabletop. All right, we're going to move through a gentle vinyasa here to get started, and then we will increase the heat a little. So I'm going to be on my knees. You can come into a full plank here if you'd like to. So go ahead and figure out whatever plank works for you. You're either here or you're here. Now hands are going to be under your shoulders no matter where you are, and then we're going to bend the elbows back towards the toes and slowly lower. Come into a baby cobra. So we are squeezing the legs together and we are pushing our tailbone towards the toes, engaging through the core and lifting the chest. The hands are just here for stability. We're not actually pushing. Lift the chin, but don't over crunch through the back of the neck. Exhale, forehead meets the ground. Hands under the shoulders, push up slow and steady. Come back to your plank. And then we'll move into a down dog. If you are a more practiced yogi, you may, of course, amp up your vinyasa as you please. I'm recovering from a little bit of an injury, so I'm going to be taking those kind of slow today. But I will offer variations. So in your down dog, bend the knees, lift the heels, okay? Plant your hands firmly and make sure that you are bending the elbows just slightly, pointing them behind you. So we're not here, we are here. What that means is I can bend my elbows and they'll go down to the ground and not out to the side. So check that. That's going to engage your lats. Really melt your heart to the earth, bring your forehead towards the earth, and then push your hips high. This is a full body engagement here, so we're going to really be feeling it through the arms, legs. Take a nice deep breath. And then we're going to slow walk to the top. So we're starting off a little slow, and we're going to crisscross the feet here, coming all the way up to a mountain pose. Inhale, halfway lift. For your halfway lift, you can be here, hands to the thighs, here, hands to the shins, or all the way down here, as long as you can get a flat back. Exhale, grip opposite elbows, and just let the body hang. Good. Inhale here, root to rise. We're going to unfurl from the tailbone first and rise all the way up to full mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back. Relax the arms. Push the feet firmly. Take a nice deep breath. Grow long and tall. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold it down. Plant the hands. We're going to move through another vinyasa. All right, this time, if you'd like, I'll show you a more advanced version. You can come into a half plank and then into an up dog, rolling through the toes. The hips never touch. And then roll through the toes again to come back to your down dog. Beautiful. Lift the right leg high to the sky. First, keep those toes pointed down so your hips are in line. Then we're going to open to a scorpion pose. So we're pointing the knee. See, I'm bending the knee and pointing it high. This opens the hips. Now from here, we're going to bring knee to chest, so we're planking through the upper body. Okay, see if we can come on back to our three-legged dog. Toes point down, hips are closed. See if you can bring knee to opposite elbow or forearm, planking through the upper body. Return to your three-legged dog, and then open that hip again like we practiced. This time arching the knee all the way up and over. See if you can touch, same elbow. Yup. Come back to three-legged dog. And then we'll lower back to the earth. Knees to the ground, come to child's pose. Inhale, rise. Return to your down dog. And we're repeating on the other side. Left leg comes high. Balance and center the hips. Check your hands. Bend the knee, scorpion pose. Good, return to your three-legged dog. Straighten it out. Knee to chest, planking through the upper body. Kick it back, three-legged dog. See if you can bring knee to opposite elbow, planking through the upper body. Return. Again, open the hip for your scorpion. Arch that knee all the way up and over. See if you can touch same elbow. Kick it back. Good. Return to your down dog. And then rest in child's pose. Reach those arms out in front of you, elongating through the side body. Inhale, tabletop. Come on back to your down dog. Now we're going to travel to the top of the mat. If you're wanting to generate a little more heat today, you can start hopping. If you're not really used to hopping here, you can take small hops. Or if you're worried about ankle stability, you can take little jumps, like I am. Or you can take one big hop to the top. If you do that, move with breath. So exhale to hop, and then land all the way up at the top between your hands if you can. Halfway lift when you get there. Of course, if you're not into hopping, you can always just continue a slow walk. And then we're going to release, fold it down, ragdoll. Inhale, all the way up, unfurl from the bottom, coming up towards the shoulders in crown mountain pose. Good, push those feet firmly. Check your footing here. You want to be about hip width. If you have narrower hips, you might want to have feet together. And just take a moment here, notice how you feel. If you've lost your Wu Jia Yi breath, this is a great time to return to that. Feeling that energy rising up through the feet, all the way up through the spine and to the crown of the head. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up overhead, steeple grip. Clasp the hands, and you're going to point your 2 pointer fingers together, and you're going to draw a line going just back behind you. So we're tiny baby back bend here. You may feel yourself elongating through the abdomen. Good. Exhale, we're going to lift the left leg high. And we'll see if we can grab onto it. If you're not able to actually balance here, then go ahead and just get on those tippy toes on the one foot, and you're just going to kind of practice your balance. Maybe practice doing a little lifting. And then we're going to step it back. See if you can do this without placing your foot down. Step that leg back into a warrior one, excuse me. In warrior one, both feet are pointed forward and your hips are relatively forward. So we're not opening out through the hips like this. We're keeping those toes forward. And then reach those arms high to the sky. All right, check your footing here. Make sure your glutes are really turned on. Let me re-cue your footing. I'm sorry. Your right toes are pointed forward and your left toes are pointed out to your 10 o'clock, and our hips are wide. So we have 1 foot over here and 1 foot over here. So we're on like train tracks, not in one straight line. All right, reach those hands high to the sky. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to straighten that leg. So we're kind of coming into a little bit of like a triangle legs here. And we want to still make sure we're not locking out the knees. So really be mindful of that here. Even this leg here, don't lock that knee. We're going to move through a little bit of stoking the flame movement like I was referring to earlier. So we're going to inhale, bend through the knee to get to a warrior one. Reach those hands high. Imagine stoking the flames, and then exhale, lift, straighten your leg and bring the arms down. Go through this 3 times on your own. Inhale, warrior one, exhale, rise. On your last one, stay here. We're going to return to a warrior one. And then we're going to see if we can push off with our rear leg. Goodness, really tripping over my tongue today. We're going to push off with our rear leg, so you can even bend if you need to. See if you can come in to a one-leg balance pose, just the way we started. If you don't make it, that's fine. I didn't. Try again next time. Go ahead and return foot to the earth. Inhale, reach those hands high. Baby back bend for a steeple grip. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, lift the right leg. Grab onto that leg if you can. If not, maybe you're down here just testing your balance. Again, don't lock this knee. Strong through the ankle and the foot here. And then see if you can, without touching down, step back into your warrior one again. Feet are wide, we're on train tracks here. Bend through the front leg, check those toe positions, reach those arms high to the sky. And then on your own, go ahead and move through that same motion. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms high, stoking the flames. Exhale, hands down, we straighten the leg. Inhale. Exhale. We're trying to cultivate that ujjayi breath, which of course I'm not able to do now, but if you can, keep that breath running just through the nostrils, stoking that heat. If you're feeling a little overheated, you can release this ujjayi breath and breathe through the mouth. All right, return to your warrior one. Just like before, we're going to push off with this rear leg and see if we can come into a one leg standing balance. All right, again, if you don't make it, try again next time. I didn't either. Go ahead and rest your foot. Inhale high, exhale fold. We're going to take a step back to vinyasa. Skip this if you're not feeling it. And go ahead and take a vinyasa at your own speed. If you want to do a full up dog, chaturanga, go nuts. If you want to slow it down with me, that's fine too, and we'll all return to a down dog. Now, if you want to continue practicing your hops here, maybe this time you do a full hop, bending through the knees deeply. Inhale, and then on your exhale, hop. Good. When you get here, halfway lift and release. Bend the knees, root to rise, come all the way up. Good. Come into your mountain pose here. Hands to the earth, palms face forward, or hands down, I suppose, not to the earth. Palms face forward. Check your footing. Inhale, steeple grip here, baby back bend. Exhale, and then inhale, lift the left leg, just like before. This time we're not grabbing on. We're just going to see if we can straighten that leg out in front, and then see if we can swing it to the back while staying balanced. If this doesn't work for you, just tap your foot here, tap your foot here. That can be tricky enough. So we're checking that balance, and then we're going to go ahead and step back into our warrior one again. Checking that footing. Inhale, hands high to the sky. We're going to move through 3 of those stoking motions once again. So we're going to start with the hands low, and then inhale, exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale, exhale. Return to your warrior one, and then we're going to reverse the warrior, dropping the left arm down, reaching the right arm high. Inhale, come back, and then bring hands both to the back of the head. And then staying in our warrior one, we're just going to bow, forehead comes towards the knee. Inhale, come all the way back up, and then 2 more just like that. Exhale. Good. Inhale, come all the way back up to your warrior one, just like before. See if you can push off and come into your one leg standing. And then we'll return to mountain pose. If you're really feeling it in the legs right now, take a moment here, just kind of shake it out. And then we're going to inhale, steeple grip, baby back bend. Exhale, and then inhale to lift the right leg. We're not holding this time. We're going to try to straighten the leg if we can. Tap the toe if you need to here. Swing it if you can. We're going to do a little swinging front to back. Checking that balance. And then stepping into a warrior one. Hands come high to the sky. And then we lower to begin our movement here. Inhale, stoking. Exhale, rise. And we're going to stay in our warrior one pose, reversing it. Drop the right arm, lift the left. Good. Exhale, bring both arms to the back of the head. Bow 3 times, deeply as you can. Checking that footing the whole way here. And then we're going to see if we can step all the way to the top, coming back into our one leg balance. Exhale, release here. Nice deep breath, sweep the arms high to the sky. Exhale, fold. Here is your chance, take a vinyasa, skip it here if you'd like. You can always take a child's pose or stay folded, or just go straight to your down dog. Take a few breaths here in down dog. Checking your posture. And then travel to the top however you'd like, small hops or a little walk, maybe one big jump. Halfway lift and then fold it down. Roots arise, come all the way up, reach high to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment here, check your footing. Notice how you're feeling. Inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky, steeple grip. And then lift that left leg once again. Check our balance here, front to back. See if we can swing a little. It's okay if you can't. Step it back, warrior one. We're just going to go right into a reverse warrior. And then exhale, return to warrior one. We're going to launch with our left leg to come into one leg balance. Okay, stay here. Reach your arms out into a T and push your left leg back nice and straight. Lean forward and let your leg lift. Trying to stay one long line through the body. Reaching the arms out to either side. Stay balanced on the right leg. Fix your gaze on one still point and point your left toes down to the ground. Try not to lock your right leg. If you want to make this harder, you can reach your arms out in front. And you can stay there for a beat or two. We're going to return back to our mountain pose as you're ready. Take a moment here if you need to shake out those legs. And then we're going to inhale, steeple grip, and baby back bend. Exhale. And release. Inhale, right leg comes high. Straighten it out in front of you and see if you can swing. And then we're going to step it back, warrior one. Reverse your warrior. And then return. Good. Launch off with that rear leg and see if you can come into that balance pose. Reach those arms out and the leg comes behind. Keep the toes pointed towards the ground as you lean forward, lifting the leg, not locking the left. Finding your balance. Feeling the heat. And you can always try to make it harder by steeple gripping in front of you. Definitely amps up the challenge. Woo. And then when you're ready, we're going to return to our mountain pose. Well done. Inhale, reach high to the sky. Exhale, fold it down. Halfway lift, and then release. Last chance for a vinyasa, so take it or skip it. We're going to return to our downward dog. Take a deep breath here, settling in. And then we're going to lift the right leg high to the sky, checking those arms are balanced. Good. Then bring that right knee towards your right elbow, right wrist, and we're going to come into a pigeon, a half pigeon here. So the idea is that the right shin will eventually someday be parallel to the top of the mat. So do your best to see how far you can go and then rest at when you get to your limit. Check that rear leg is out nice and straight. And then a couple options you have are to stay here, which I recommend always at the beginning, taking a nice deep breath and just settling in. And then if you want to, you could come all the way down onto the elbows. If you have space, you could lay all the way. My favorite variation here is to stay upright, bend that rear leg, and come into a mermaid pose, grabbing on with that right arm to the right leg. This gets a nice stretch through that left arm to left leg. You get a nice stretch through that left shoulder and into the quad, into the hip flexor a little. Good. I'm going to release the leg here. We're going to slowly start coming out of our variations. And then we're going to transition into a one leg seated fold. So one option to do that is to roll onto this right hip so that you can swing your left leg over. And then your leg is already bent so we can come into this position. If that doesn't work for you, you can pull yourself up out of the posture or find another way to move into here. Maybe you have to roll all the way over, and that's totally fine too. So we're coming into our one leg forward fold. So we've got one leg tucked in, one leg nice and straight. Reach high to the sky. Exhale, reaching out towards that left leg. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get my hands on that leg, which allows for a little bit of a deeper stretch on that right side. If I want more of a stretch, I can reach that right arm to the opposite side of the leg and really lean into that a little. Only go as much as it feels good for you, and you can still breathe and feel comfortable. Relaxing the head and shoulders. And then we're going to use our hands to actually help push us up out of this, because it can be a little intense on those like obliques here in the back. And then we're going to we're going to bring that right arm all the way over behind our right hip. The left arm comes high, and we're just going to lift onto that right knee and that left foot, coming into a half or like a kneeling version of a wild thing pose. And then exhale. We're going to return to our down dog so that we can re-enter from the same position. This time, right leg comes high to the sky. Left leg comes high to the sky. Stretch it out for your three-legged dog, and then bring it on in for your half pigeon. Check your shape here. See if you can make any adjustments. And then take a moment here just settling in. When you're ready, go ahead and you can move into any variation that you would like. I recommend trying the same variation on each side just for a little consistency. Go ahead and release your variation so we can come back to upright. Roll onto that left hip as far as you need to swing that leg out in front. Tucking the left, reaching the arms high to the sky, and then exhaling for our one-legged fold. Take whatever hand position feels good for you here, and then really just relax the head and shoulders. Use your hands to help walk you up out of this pose, slow and steady. And then we're going to come into a boat pose. So we're going to bend both knees, centering ourselves in the middle of the mat, because we're going to end up leaning back here. So bend the knees, gripping onto the thighs, and we're just going to lean back until we can balance on the tailbone. Now, if this is not available to you or you need a little assistance, you can point the toes. You could even bring a block here, and you could be resting your feet onto a yoga block for a little extra stability. This is a core engagement, so we're really trying to keep that activation throughout the core. Going back to that idea of balance. So if you're here in this variation, go ahead and try to get your legs parallel. If you're able to, straighten out those legs. Keep your back nice and flat. Do not round through the shoulders. Really straight here like a V or a check mark. And then see if you can release the arms. Palms face the sky. You might be shaking. That's okay. And then we're going to go ahead and come into a little ball. See if you can stay balanced on the tailbone. Feet don't touch. And we're going to lower back nice and easy. Flat on the back. Take a moment here and just roll a little left to right. You can massage the kidneys and the lumbar region, maybe doing some circles with the knees, and then reversing that circle. Good. Bring those feet flat to the earth. Hands are going to rest flat as well. And I want your heels to be about a couple inches from the fingertips, not too far. We're going to move into some bridges here. So we're going to really push down through our foundation of hands, feet, and shoulders. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips high to the sky. Do not rotate the neck here. Keep the gaze forward. Lift the heart and then lift the chin to the sky. Good. Exhale slow and steady. Roll down from the shoulder blades first towards the tailbone. And then rest. We're going to do that again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Really try to get some glute engagement here. This is a foundation muscle. We want to really work it. And then push up, bridge pose. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Push through the feet and hands. Good. Exhale, lower. Inhale, bridge pose. This time, see if you can lift that right leg high to the sky, or maybe a little. And then exhale, slowly lower, keeping that leg lifted. And then we'll bring it back down so we can return to our bridge pose. Once again, inhale. And this time, lift the left leg as high as you can. Try to keep your bridge here. And then slowly lower it down, keeping that leg lifted. Good. Go ahead and bring both knees into the chest here. And we're going to just do a little twisting to the left. This can feel really good on the low back and the hips and glutes after some of those back bends. And then we'll twist it to the other side. Try to keep your shoulders as flat as you can, relaxing them, relaxing the hips. Good. Exhale, come back to center, and then lift those legs high to the sky. We're going to enter waterfall pose. So stay lifted here. Try to keep your feet flat to the ceiling and straighten the legs as much as you can, but you probably need a gentle bend in the knees so that your feet can be flat to the ceiling. Notice the muscles that are engaging here when you're doing this. It's like you're standing, but you are in an entirely different orientation. And then exhale, we're coming into a little ball here, squeezing everything together, really engaging the core. See if we can touch our forehead to the knees. And then waterfall, inhale. And then exhale, ball. Do a couple more of these on your own. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then stay in your little ball here, flat in the back. Release this just a little. We can go into that lumbar massage again here, rolling side to side, or maybe doing small circles. And we're relaxing the core. Good, we're gonna go back to waterfall pose. And then open the legs out into a wide V as much as you can. Maybe feeling a nice stretch here along the inner thighs. And then squeeze them together. Open. And squeeze. Again, bringing back that visualization of bellows here. Pumping a little fire here for a slow burn at the end of our practice. Good. From here, we're going to go into a happy baby. Bend the knees, and you're going to grab onto the feet. Check that your elbow is on the inner knee like so, and not on the outer knee like this. So get those elbows to the inner, point those knees out to the sides, and get those feet flat to the ceiling. If you cannot grab onto the outer edges of the feet, try grabbing onto the inner arches or ankles, calf, behind the knee, whatever works for you here. Get creative with your body. In your happy baby, you can stay here, or if you have a little more flexibility and mobility, you may try to straighten out that left leg, see if you can tap your toes to the earth. And then we'll roll to the other side, see if you can tap your toes to the right. Again, only move through a range of motion that feels good for you and not something that feels forced or too much uncomfortable. All right, we're going to come on out of this pose, return to your little ball shape one final time, squeezing everything together, squeeze. And then exhale, release, and come into Shavasana. Take up some space here in this final posture. Stretch out those arms and legs wide. And then starting from the top here, relaxing the forehead and the eyes. Maybe closing the eyes if that's comfortable. Let your breath return to its normal pace. Relax the jaw and the tongue. Maybe part those lips slightly, making sure the teeth are not clenched. And just gently tuck the chin to stretch through the back of the neck. Snuggle the shoulder blades just a little so we can really relax and roll back through the shoulders. Relax the arms and hands. Relax the chest, the core, the glutes. Relaxing the thighs here, the legs and the feet. And then finally, try to just relax your thoughts, acknowledging them, but not following them. Bring your conscious awareness to the sensations of the body, the rise and fall of your breath, the heat in the body. Notice if there's any tingling or warming sensations coming up for you. Feel free to pause or stop the video, staying in Savasana as long as you'd like. If you're ready to come out of this resting pose, then go ahead and begin wiggling the fingers and the toes. Bring a little movement through there first. And then the wrists and the ankles, go ahead and give them a little movement, some rotation. You can roll through the forearms and the legs here just a little bit. Maybe you want a full body stretch. Keep the eyes closed if that's comfortable for you, and then roll onto your left side here, coming into a fetal posture, resting your left ear onto your left bicep and resting your right hand onto the earth. In your fetal posture, I want you to just release any remaining stagnant energy that you're feeling that is lingered on from the winter season. You can always give things back if you decide they're not working for you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up into a seated position. We will end our practice with one chant of Om. Here, Om is the primordial sound of the universe, it is said, and it helps to realign all of our bodily chakras. So come into a comfortable upright seated position so that that energy can move through you. And then inhale, reach those arms high to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. We will take one deep breath and then we will chant our Om. So here, inhale. Om. Thank you all for joining me for this Aries season yoga practice. I hope that it helps bring a little heat and cleansing energy to your spring season. Until next time.